Hello students, welcome back. This is IGT Introduction to Graph Theory. This lecture number is 28. We are discussing 5.1, that is vertex coloring. Correct. So we have done in last lecture till k chromatic graph, that is a graph is k chromatic if chromatic number of that graph is k. Okay, now some application of this coloring on this chromaticity we are discussing here. Obviously vertex coloring is very important. So where we use this coloring to the maps, correct, such that coloring to the region of maps such that every two neighboring region gets the different color, so there we can use the coloring. Okay, and how many minimum number of colors we need, that is equal to the chromatic number of that corresponding graph. So how we form a graph corresponding to a map? Whenever two neighboring regions are and that is two regions are neighbors, then they will be adjacent in the graph, and considering all the regions as the neighbors, all the regions as the vertices. Okay, and two vertices will be adjacent whenever two are neighbors. Okay, so likewise you can also define you can also use this chromaticity, or you can just say coloring in map coloring. And another application is when in some university we want to assign the time slot for final exams, so that two courses with a common student have different time slots. The number of slots needed is the chromatic number of the graph, and the graph we obtain by how in which two courses are adjacent if they have common student. Means to say whenever exam scheduling, or in case of you can just say lecture scheduling problems, we can use this coloring problem. Correct. How we can have some problems here, some applications here. So here is the first application. I'll be discussing two applications here. Okay, so the mathematics department of a certain college plans to schedule the classes of a graph theory. These subjects are given: graph theory, statistics, linear algebra, advanced calculus, geometry, that is represented by GTSLA, advanced calculus AC, geometry G, and modern algebra, that is MA. Okay, 10 students indicated by A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. 10 students have indicated the courses they plan to take. So here is the data for the students and corresponding the courses they are planning to take. Okay, use graph theory. You have to use the graph theory to determine the minimum number of time periods needed to offer these courses, so that every two classes having a common student are taught at different periods, different time periods. Okay, and data is given as this one, that is student A has taken linear algebra and statistics, student B has taken modern algebra, linear algebra, and that is geometry, G for geometry. Student C has taken modern algebra, geometry, linear algebra, and D has taken geometry, linear algebra, advanced calculus, and so on. So here I have this data given. So you have to use this coloring, or you can just say chromaticity, you can use to find the minimum number of time periods such that these classes will be held. And obviously whenever two classes have some common students, they can't be planned in one slot. Correct. They should have they should be taught at the different time periods. Correct. So we will consider construct a graph corresponding to this data. So constructing a graph by taking this subjects, these all subjects. So how many subjects are there? So these are 6 subjects. So take these subjects as the vertices, and whenever two subjects have common student, that is one student has taken any two subjects, then there will be an edge between two subjects, okay, two vertices. So two subjects are adjacent whenever they have common student, okay. So the corresponding graph will be given by this one, that is here you can just say LAS. So first you can just take the vertices. This represents graph theory, this represents stats, this represents linear algebra, this represents advanced calculus, geometry and modern algebra, okay. So here LA and S. A has taken LA and S, that is linear algebra and stats. So there will be an as between LA and S. So this is the as I have just drawn, correct. Next is B has taken MA, LA, G. So MA, LA and geometry. So there will be an as between every two vertices of these three. That is, there will be a cycle between this one. That is, these are MA and G has B student common. So obviously there will be an as. So G and LA also have B student common, and these have B students common, okay. So whenever a student has taken three courses, means to say there will be triangle representing them, and whenever a student has taken two courses, then there will be an as representing them, okay. So here I have like this, C has taken MAGLA. So MAGLA, C has also taken same courses that B has taken, correct. So student, for C we have already drawn it, so we will not be drawing. Obviously we will be drawing only simple graph, okay, no multi-ages will be there, okay. And likewise we will draw this graph or these edges corresponding to this data, okay. So we have constructed this as with subject as vertices, and two vertices are adjacent if some students have taken both the subject, okay. And the minimum number of time periods is given by chromatic number of this graph. I'll tell you why. This is the corresponding graph to this situation, correct. So two subjects are adjacent whenever they have common student, correct. So means to say, if we taught this if we teach this graph theory and stats at one particular slot, then it will not helping, correct, because that student will be missing some class, correct. So if we color it by using some different colors, that is this one, and you can use this one, then it will be having some different time slots, okay, means to say different time slots and different colors, okay. So here the minimum the minimum time we want to teach these subjects, correct, we need. So that is minimum colors we need to color this graph, correct. So that will be given by chromatic number of this graph, and chromatic number of this graph will be coming as 4. How? Here we have this C5 is the part of this one, so obviously this is not the bipartite graph, so at least it will be having chromatic number as 3, but we have C5 join with this one, then for this C5 3 colors. So for example we have used 2, color number 3, color number 3, color number 4, color number 2. So here 2 colors, so 1, 2, 3, correct. But LA is also there which is adjacent with all these vertices, all these 5 vertices. So obviously we cannot use the same color, so we have to use some different color. So means to say C5 join with K1 represents this vertex linear algebra, is the subgraph of H, correct. C5 join with K1 is the subgraph of H, correct. So if this is the subgraph, then chromatic number of this one is also less than H, sorry for that. So chromatic number of this subgraph C5 join with K1 is less than equal to chromatic number of H. Correct. And for this one we know, we have just got it, this is at least 4, so there will be for less than equal to chromatic number of H. So here I have just discussed whatever I am telling you. Correct. So and chromatic number is at least 4. Now if we are able to show somehow that chromatic number is at most 4, then it will be equal to 4. Correct. So you are able to give some coloring, or here you can use 1, then you can use, this is adjacent to 1, so this will be 2, this is adjacent to both S, so here it will be 3, GT is adjacent with 3 and 1, so it can be 2 can be used, MA is adjacent with 2 and 1, so 3 can be used. Now G is adjacent with 3, 1 and 2, so nothing can be used, we need to use the new color. So we are able to establish 4 coloring, proper 4 coloring for this graph. So whenever there is key coloring, chromatic number will be less than equal to k. So this means chromatic number of this graph is equal to 4. Or if you are able to show that minimum coloring is 4 only, okay, there does not exist any less minimum coloring, then that will be showing the chromatic number of this graph. So anyway, we have got this chromatic number for this H in this graph. H is 4, means to say we can schedule this 6 classes, obviously 6 subjects, means to say 6 courses, so 6 classes in 4 slots, as in one slot you can teach linear algebra, in second slot the color number second, that is graph theory and advanced calculus, and in because these does not have any common student. Correct. And LA is taken by almost all. Correct. Yeah. Then it will be third slot will be stats and modern algebra, and fourth will be geometry. Okay. Or there will be 4 slot, and this can be arranged in any of these way. Okay. There will be, so one of the way is represented by this one. Of course you can have this geometry at first, linear algebra is last, modern algebra is second, and this second one at third. So this is one way. Okay. So this is done by using graph theory. That is the chromatic number of this graph. Correct. The another is use the graph theory to determine the earliest time on Monday, on some day, that all 8 students can finish their exam. So there will be a day for re-exam, and all 8 students are given, they have to finish their exams if 2 exams cannot be given during the same time period. Okay. If some students must have taken the both exams, the possible time periods for these exams are on that day are given by, so possible time slots are given by this one, 8 to 10 it can happen, 10:15 to 12:15 and so on. So every time slot is 2 hours. Okay. So it will be up to 9:15, but here these 8 students and courses taken by these students are given by this one. So small letters represent students, so 8 students are represented by this one, and AC means advanced calculus, D means differential equation, linear programming means LP, and so on. G means geometry, linear programming, MA means modern algebra. Like this, these are the courses. So A has to take 3 exams, C has to take these 3, E has to take this one, and so on. Correct. So for all 8 students this is given. You need to find the earliest time on this day, on this Monday exam day. That is obviously these 6 subjects are given, 6 subjects or 8 subjects are given. So these are 8 subjects are given and we have 6 time slot. So we want to minimize the time so that these exam they can finish at the earliest. Okay, so this can be done by using graph theory. First draw the corresponding graph and then find the chromatic number. That will give you the exams having common student will be putting in different slots. Okay, so first the graph is, just take these subjects as the vertices. So draw a graph G with the courses as the vertices, or you can just say exam courses as the vertices, and 2 vertices are adjacent if some students have taken both the exams. So 2 vertices will be adjacent if and only if some students have taken both. Okay, and for this one the minimum number of exam slot is given by chromatic number of this one. Of course, yes, how if 2 vertices are adjacent and if you color and they have common student in them, so they will be having a different slots, correct? So here we need to color it by different colors. So likewise minimum coloring we need. Okay, and this is the by using coloring of the graph, correct? The way we have just drawn the graph and the way situation wants, correct? So here chromatic number we got the minimum color k, this G is k colorable and minimum k is 4. Okay, that you can check. And 4 means these 8 course exams can be held in 4 slots, just 4 slots. How? Here you can in one slot you can just take LP, linear programming. Next, in another slot you can take geometry, graph theory and statistics. In another modern algebra and a differential equation, and in the 4th one there will be advanced calculus. So the earliest time to finish the exam is, so first you can use, second you can use, third, fourth. So the earliest time, if no rest is allowed, then it will be 4:45. Okay, that's the, so these are the application of this coloring. Okay, now come to this some more definitions. We have done chromaticity, and chromaticity we graph is k chromatic if the chromatic number of graph is k. Okay, and proper k coloring was, and what do we understand by optimal coloring? We want to minimize the coloring, correct? And k chromatic means the minimum case is that G is k colorable. So a k chromatic graph is the proper k coloring corresponding to this k chromatic graph. The k colors we are using, the minimum k colors we are using, that is the optimal coloring. Okay, means to say optimal coloring minimization. Okay, you want to minimize the resources, correct? Now come to color critical, or you can have some examples based on this. Optimal coloring, for example, you can just have C4. C4 is 4 colorable, 3 colorable, 2 colorable. So 3 colorable have this one 1 and this one 1, and you can have some different color to this one and some other different color to this one. This is also 2 colorable, 4 colorable also. If you take all the vertices as different colors, okay, if you color all the vertices by using different colors, then it will be 4 colorable, but the minimum is 2 colorable, correct? So this minimum is, the minimum numbers is that this is k colorable is 2. So you can use 2 color to color all the vertices of C4. So the minimum and chromatic number of this C4 is also we have 2, correct? So this coloring or this k corresponding to this proper coloring, that is 2 proper coloring we are having here. So this is known as optimal coloring, and we know that is minimum coloring, correct? So this minimum coloring is only optimal coloring. So in case of C5 also you can just look at this one. So how many minimum color needed to color this graph? So this one is, we can use this one. So the same cannot be used here. So you can use here. The same cannot be used here because this is adjacent with this one, and this cannot be used here because this is adjacent with this one. Correct? So you can use the different color. So we can use this one and this one because these are not adjacent. This one we can't use this color and we can't use this color. Correct? So we need to use some other. So some other we are using this color. So what is the chromatic number of this graph? We know chromatic number for this for odd cycle is 3. This is C5. For C5 it is 3, and here the 3 proper coloring for this graph is giving you optimal coloring. Okay, so for every odd cycle, optimal coloring is 3 coloring. Okay, proper 3 coloring, such that adjacent vertices gets the different colors. Okay, likewise you can do with the all other. Now come to color critical or K critical. So K critical or color critical, a graph G is K critical if for every proper subgraph of G, if you consider all the proper subgraph of G, then you have the chromatic number of G is strictly greater than chromatic number of H. Okay. Again, if for all proper subgraph H of G, you have chromatic number of G is strictly greater than chromatic number of H. Correct? Of that subgraph. This is the condition for color critical, and in particular color critical is K critical, and if this chromatic number of G is K, then for every proper subgraph you should have this condition, that is for every proper subgraph H of G, chromatic number of H should be strictly less than K, then it will be G is said to be K critical. Okay, so this will be C, K critical. What I have written here, I don't know. So it will be critical, CRITICAL, critical. Okay, so this one. So here some writing mistake. Now consider some examples for this color critical. Consider the K5. K5 is the 3 critical graph because K5, not K5, C5 you can consider first. So C5 is this one. This one is chromatic number of this graph is 3. Correct? And if you take any proper subgraph of this one, so you need to remove at least one vertex or at least some edge. So I have just removed this one. So then I will be getting P5, and for P5 we know chromatic number is 2. Correct? So which is less than 3, and obviously if you are getting P3 or some vertices only, then you will be having 1. So chromatic number will be 1 or 2 for every proper subgraph of this one. Correct? C5. So that is strictly less than 3, and that's why this C5 is 3 critical or color critical. Okay. So here C5 is 3 critical because there does not exist any proper subgraph such that its chromatic number is 3. Okay, because chromatic number of C5 is we are having 3. Okay, and there does not exist any proper subgraph of this G such that its chromatic number of H becomes chromatic number of G. Correct? Means to say for every proper subgraph of G, this would be proper subgraph. Okay, proper subgraph of G, you are having chromatic number is less than equal to 2. Okay, either it's equal to 2 or it's 1. Okay, of course if you have all the vertices, then it will be 1. Otherwise if there is some edge, then it's 2. Okay, now some more example for this K critical. For 1, whenever K is 1, so then only trivial subgraph is K critical, that is 1 critical. Okay, so only trivial subgraph, that is K1. So K1 is the only one critical graph, okay, and K2 is the only two critical graph, because whenever we have chromatic number 2 means what? Minimum two coloring we are using, this one, correct. So two colors we are using. Any proper subgraph is of this one is either this one or two vertices, correct. So here we can use first color. So chromatic number of this proper subgraph of this graph is again 1. It's not equal to 2, okay. And if you consider P3, because Pn also we have chromatic number is 2, then there is existing K2 for every, whenever there is an edge, this will be the proper subgraph of that of G, and chromatic number of this is 2, correct. That's why this is not becoming any other graph G is not becoming any this color critical for K is equal to 2. So only K2 is 2 critical graph, okay, or color critical for K is equal to 2, okay. And odd cycles are 3 critical, because there does not exist any proper subgraph of that odd cycle such that its chromatic number will become 3, okay. So for all the proper subgraph of odd cycles, chromatic number is less than equal to 2. Here we have written, okay. I hope this is clear. Now come to clique number. So what do you understand by clique number? One was this independence number. What was independence number? It was denoted by alpha of G, correct. Maximum independent, that is the maximum size of set of pairwise independent vertices, correct. So maximum size of independent vertices was independence number, and maximum size of set of pairwise adjacent vertices, that is the maximum size of a clique, is clique number. So its maximum independent set size, it was alpha G, and maximum clique size, it is omega of G. This is not W, this is omega of G, okay. So alpha is corresponding to independence, and omega is corresponding to all every pairwise it should be adjacent, okay. So this is the clique. So this is the clique independence number. So clique number is omega, independence number is alpha of this graph, okay. So you can have some example here. For G, for this graph G, maximum size of a set of pairwise adjacent vertices, or you can just say maximum size of a clique, is 3, because K3 is the part of this one, and in K3 all 3 vertices are adjacent, and K4 is not the part of this graph G, that's why it's not 4. So maximum it is 3, okay. So G contains maximum 3 pairwise adjacent vertices, that's why clique number, that will be the cardinality of that maximum set of pairwise adjacent vertices, correct. For Pn it will be, 2, that is the, for Pn you have kind of this one, and here no C3 will be part of this one, only K2 is the part of Pn, correct. Only K2 is the part of non-trivial Pn, non-trivial path, then it will be the maximum that is maximum set of pairwise adjacent vertices, that is 2 only. So as is the part of Pn, okay. That's why clique number for this one Pn, it is 2, correct. Now you can tell me, this is question for you, what is alpha G for Pn? So that is sorry for that, yeah, it is maximum size, it was clique. Now consider this one Pn, alpha of G for G is equal to Pn, tell me, okay. So this is your exercise. Next is come to Cn. that is the cycle of order n. And cycle for C3, for C3 it's 3 because C3 is the part of the K3 is the part of this one, correct? So for C3 you have all 3 vertices are pairwise adjacent, that's why clique number, the number of maximum is 3, correct? So clique number omega for C3 is 3. What about C4? C4 maximum pairwise adjacent vertices are, there is only one K2, correct? Everywhere K2. You can just take this one. No, C3 is the part of any other Cn. So omega for Cn, n is greater than equal to 4, it is 2, because C3 is not the subgraph of any other Cn. Only K2 is the subgraph of this one, not K3, correct? So that's why maximum size of adjacent vertices will be 2. So here I have just written, okay? And now it's your time to tell me what is the alpha of Cn. So alpha of Cn, alpha of Pn, you need to remember, okay? So tell me. Yeah, for n is equal to 3, this is omega of C3 is 3, okay, that I have discussed. What about Kn? For Kn, that is the complete graph. For C1, obviously 1, correct? Okay, so for Cn, it is for K1, for K2, we want non-trivial, correct? So for K2, how many adjacent vertices? So 1, 2, both, so 2. For K3, it is for 2, 2. For K3, it is 3. For K4, all vertices are adjacent. In particular, in Kn, all n vertices are pairwise adjacent. So omega for Kn, it will be n. Okay, so n is the maximum size of clique here. Okay, and what about alpha of Kn? You tell me, or I should tell you. This is there is only one vertex which is independent from all other. So always it will be 1, correct? So I hope you got this one. Now we can have this proposition. This proposition is for every graph G, chromatic number of graph G is bigger than equal to, greater than equal to, or you can just say at least clique number. So chromatic number of a graph is at least clique number. Chromatic number of a graph is greater than equal to clique number, that is this one, and chromatic number of that graph xij is greater than equal to order divided by independence number. Okay, alpha of G represents independence number and n of G represents the order of graph and xi is the chromatic number. Okay, so for every graph these two are the results. So tell me how to prove. So chromatic number is at least this is the clique number. Clique is the maximum size of set of pairwise adjacent vertices, and whenever pairwise adjacent vertices we can't use the same color to color all this one. So we need at least equal to clique number colors, correct? So as all the vertices in clique require distinct colors, that's why clique number is that is at least clique the colors equal to clique number required to color the graph. Okay, that's why chromatic number will be always greater than equal to clique number. Okay, so that is xi is always greater than equal to omega. Okay, and now come to this one, second this identity, that is a chromatic number is greater than equal to n by alpha. N is order of the graph and alpha is n is the order of graph and alpha is the independence number, that is the maximum size of set of pairwise non adjacent vertices, or you can just say pairwise independent vertices. Okay, and how this is true? This holds because each color is an independent set. Each color class is an independent set. Whenever we are having color class means, so there is some set of vertices, for example A, B, C, those are colored by the same color, that is the color class. So we take each same color vertices in a set, that is known as color class. Correct? So what I was saying, so each color class is an independent set, obviously independent set, that's why we are able to color with the same color. Correct? So each color class is an independent set, that's why it has how many it is independent set, so it can have at most how many vertices? So at most it can have independent vertices, correct, equal to independent vertices of the G, that is alpha G. Okay, so each color class can have at most alpha G vertices. So each color class is an independent set, correct. Here I have just spoken, correct. Now we can use the color one color we can use to color each class, obviously one color, the same color, to color at most this much, because this can be at most the number of vertices in each color class, it can be at most alpha of G, correct. So that is the independent set. So independent set can have maximum this much cardinality, correct. So we can use one color to color at most alpha G vertices, correct. So alpha G vertices are colored by, so at most alpha G vertices are colored by one color. So what about NG? Total number of vertices are equal to order, so it will be colored by 1 divided by alpha G into n of G, correct. So again here we have alpha G number of vertices are at most this much are colored by using same color, or you can just say color number 1. So same color, so total number of vertices are n, so equal to order, correct. So here it will be colored by at least, it is 1 by alpha G into n of G, correct. So you can just say at least we need n of G divided by alpha G, correct. So that is order divided by clique number. Okay, so here we are done with this one, and hence you can just say chromatic number, that is minimum, we need to use the Ng divided by alpha. Okay, n divided by alpha, this is this number of colors we need to color the graph. Okay, so that is alpha G. Okay, in most of the graph you will find the equality here. In some graph you may find the greater than, that is if this is xig, that is chromatic number is strictly greater than n by alpha. So that's I have just given here. So here we have this is a wheel, you can just have this example over here. So here we have this one. So consider this graph. What can you say about chromatic number of this one and alpha of this one? So chromatic number, tell me, and alpha and n. Obviously n is 6, correct. So n is 6 here, and how many alpha is that is how many independent vertices are there. So independent vertices are there, so this much and this one, then you can't take this one, you can't take this one, you can't take this one. So only 2, maximum is 2, and in C5 maximum is 2, and here also you can just take this one, correct. So chromatic number, you can use the 1, or you can use the color number 1 to color this middle part, then no other vertices will be colored by color number 1 because this is adjacent to all other vertices. So color number 2, we can't use this one by color 2 and we can't use this one by color 2. We can use color 2 over here and we can't use color 2 on this one because these are adjacent with color 2. Okay, next is you can just take color number 3, correct. So color number 3 here also you can just take, here it can't be colored by color number 3, correct. So here some different color you need to choose. So this is adjacent with 1, this vertex adjacent with 2, adjacent with 3. So you need to choose some different color. So here color number 4. So what is the chromatic number? Minimum color to color this graph is 4, correct. And what is n by alpha? N by alpha is 6 by 2, that is 3, correct. And what is the inequality here, correct. Not, this is the strict inequality, that is the chromatic number strictly greater than n divided by alpha. Okay, okay, chromatic number is strictly greater than n divided by alpha. N is 6 here and alpha is 2. Okay, so here we are done. And you can have in case of C3 or C4 also kind of you can take C4, what is chromatic number? 2, correct. And clique number, clique number, no, we need independence number. So independence number is alpha is 2 here, maximum independent 2 vertices. And what is n? N 4. So here 4 divided by 2, it will be 2. So this is n by alpha, correct. So that is 4 by 2. So here equal. So in some graphs you can have this as equality, in some graph you can have strictly greater than. Okay, that's why this is greater than equal to. So anyway you need to remember these results. So for proof I have just done. So in this lecture so let's stop here. I hope you like this and I will be starting with this one again in next lecture. Okay, then I will be discussing with Cartesian product and join and their chromatic numbers. Okay, in next lecture. I hope you liked it. Bye bye, take care.